Let's finally speak about GreenPower Motors Company. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the t-shirt to prove it. And today we're going to be speaking about a very highly requested company, GreenPower Motors. Literally, guys, I don't think I've ever gotten as many comments asking me to cover any other company. And I can see why. Tuesday and Wednesday, this was a $1 stock. Now it's well above $1.50. It is crazy. And of course, it's an electric vehicle stock, and that is what we speak about the most on the channel. But seriously, the amount of comments. I couldn't not make this video. It is currently traded on two markets, OTC and also the Canadian market, but it has filed for NASDAQ listing, and we will speak a little bit more about that in the video, of course. So what these guys really do is they're in buses, okay? They have mini buses, they have buses, they even have double-decker buses. And of course, they are all electric vehicles, and they're not even a particularly new company. They've been around for a considerable period of time. They have products on the road. They are making sales to this day. So I've done a fair bit of research at this stage. I'm just going to give you guys my current thoughts and opinions on the company. We'll go through the basics of what they do, what their past looks like, what the future could potentially look like. We'll go a little bit through each one of the products that they offer, and of course we'll go through a little bit of the investor presentation and just some order history and things like that. So right before we get into the video, guys, can I please ask you to smash that juicy like button, as it genuinely helps me and the channel out so much. I really would appreciate it. Please do drop me a comment down below as well. Let me know what you think of the video and what you think of this company if you have gotten involved. And please do hit that juicy red subscribe button, people. It means the world to me. We're growing quicker and quicker every single day. We're fast approaching 25,000 subs, which is crazy. With all that being said, guys, let's get into it. So first thing to know, this is a Canadian company. So they are listed on the CVE, the Canadian Venture Exchange. But what most people are speaking about is this GPVRF, okay, and this is their OTC. So for the sake of simplicity and keeping things in US dollars, this is what we will be speaking about today. And we can see that in the last month alone, they are up very close to 150%, with an 18.29% gain just yesterday. Now let's keep in mind that on the Canadian exchange, they have a market cap of about 234 million as of right now. So it is still a very small market cap company. And this company did actually go public all the way back the 10th of February 2015, but it is just now really starting to build a lot of traction. And I think that one of the big reasons is this, okay? So the Canadian EV manufacturer GreenPower Motor files for a $35 million NASDAQ uplisting. So I think that the fact that they want to get listed onto the NASDAQ is what will get a lot more people involved. You know, obviously this will mean it's on all of your standard brokers, it's going to be on Robinhood, etc, etc. So that's where we stand right now. What does the company actually do, and how are they doing? So if we go onto their actual website, first of all, this is the first thing that we see. The future of transportation. An electric bus manufacturer with a focus on the North American market, even though they are a Canadian company. They have the EV Star, transit buses, and school and shuttle buses. And this is a little bit of what each one looks like. Okay, so we have the EV Star, which you know is pretty much a shuttle bus. Now we can see here that the standard EV Star seats up to 19 plus the driver. It has a range of up to 150 miles or 240 kilometers. We can actually see the drive motor is being provided by Dana, a company we spoke about not too long ago. And that's kind of the most important stuff to me. So it's a minibus capable of holding 20 with a range of up to 150 miles. Then we have the Beast, okay? The Beast is an acronym that stands for Battery Electric Automotive School Transportation. I mean, let's be honest, they just wanted to call it the Beast because it's cool. So this sits up to 90 and again has a range of up to 150 miles or 240 kilometers. So a standard school bus, you know, 90 passengers, that is quite a few passengers. And then the last thing we have is this one, which is quite interesting, our low floor transit line, the EV250, EV350 and the EV550. So low floor transit buses are the most utilized heavy duty vehicles amongst transit properties operating in North America. It's just your standard bus. So we can see here the EV550 is actually a 45-foot double-decker bus, which is quite cool to say the least. So we can see the 250 has 25 plus standees, the 350 40 plus, and the 550 has 100 plus. And the ranges are 175 miles for the 250 and the 550. Obviously this is a much bigger vehicle, and the 350 actually has a 200 mile range. But that gives you a good idea of what the company actually does, what they are in, okay? We have buses, we have shuttle buses, school buses, and your standard bus. So what is all the hype actually about? Why are they doing so well? So if we look at this, okay, GreenPower reports record annual revenue of $13.5 million, an increase of 122% over the previous year. So I mean, 122% increase for any company in the world is absolutely massive. I don't care if you're a small company or a well-established one, that is massive regardless. And given the times that we're living in today, to be able to post these kind of results is very good. Now, so be it, it is easier to do when you're a relatively small company, but still very, very good. So this is highlights for the fiscal year ended March 31st, okay? So they sold or leased a record 68 all-electric buses, comprised of 62 EV Stars, 4 Synapse Type D school buses and 2 EV350 low-floor transit buses. So they delivered 33 EV Stars to Green Commuter during the year. We can get into that a little bit later, with 70 units remaining to be delivered under Green Commuter's 100 EV Star order at year end. So they essentially have guaranteed deliveries for the rest of this year. And let's keep in mind, guys, that this increase came off the back of 68 electric vehicles. Now, most of them were Stars, there was a couple of buses in there, and they already have another 70 for the end of this year. One more thing that every EV investor loves to see, they entered into partnerships with Perrone Robotics for the development of autonomous driving capabilities with the EV Star and Momentum Dynamics for the development of wireless charging. So that's quite interesting. You know, in the world of EV, wireless charging is still somewhat of a new concept. It is out there, but it's not popular just yet. And of course, autonomy is kind of a given at this stage in regards to EV. Now, this is also very interesting. On March 31st, the company had 71 HVIP approved voucher requests pending relating to sales in California for a total of $7,025,000 reserved from the 2019 allocation. So a lot of you guys on the channel will know about this. I speak about Workhorse a lot, and one of the really good things about Workhorse is that they are also eligible for this HVIP incentive. GreenPower are as well. And we can actually see that here, the GreenPower HVIP eligible vehicles. And it is pretty much all of them, okay? And they all have different amounts of vehicle incentives, obviously somewhat dependent on the costs, I would assume. And you know, people are putting this eligibility to use, as we just saw by those orders. So they finished the year ending March 31st with inventory of $6.6 million, including $3.8 million of finished goods and $2.8 million of work in process and accounts receivable of $1 million. Quite a good position for a company like this to finish the year off in, especially with the money they had already made. So upon initial inspection, it's quite clear to see that it's all looking quite good. Now, if there's one thing we absolutely love to do on this channel when looking at an EV company for the first time, it's taking a look at the investor presentation, and GreenPower do have one. It's shorter than a lot of others, but there is some good information in here. So what they say themselves in regards to their competitive advantage: GreenPower Motor Company is the only electric bus manufacturer that has a full line of purpose-built zero-emission vehicles in its respective markets. Purpose-built means our buses were designed, engineered and manufactured from the ground up as battery electric bus and not a converted vehicle. So, you know, some companies would have, you know, traditional ICE trucks and would just convert them to be hybrid or somewhat electric. These are built from the ground up as an actual electric vehicle, which can be important, especially when it does come to things like, you know, HVIP eligibility and certain other government incentives. So here's what the delivery history looks like so far. And we can clearly see that they've been selling vehicles since, you know, the start of 2018, and in general it has been on an upward trend, but things started to get real in the last year or so, the last 9 months even. And we can see that the EV Stars do still account for the large majority of their deliveries, and the EV Star is the minibus. So what they say here is customers start with small orders, then increase order size after units perform in the real world environment, and yep, that makes a lot of sense. 15 customers have purchased 1 to 5 units, prime candidates for larger volume purchases in 2020. So, you know, right now they're talking the talk. If the vehicles actually walk the walk as well, it's going to be very good. They're already going to have an established, you know, list of companies to sell to. So their national strategy, okay, partnership with the nation's largest bus dealer, Creative Bus Sales, 18 physical locations across the US, 100 plus experienced sales personnel, and exceptional parts and service support. So they have FTA Altoona certification and Buy America compliance. And what this means is they've passed all 7 lengthy and rigorous FTA Altoona tests. Potential buyers rely heavily on Altoona reports when making purchase decisions. The EV Star is Buy America Act compliant. The FDA will subsidize 80% of the purchase price for vehicles that are Buy America Act compliant and Altoona tested, and it's first in its class to be both Altoona certified and Buy America compliant. So again, they're ticking boxes, guys. They're in a good position and they're making these vehicles more affordable in every single way possible, which could be a fantastic strategy to penetrate this market and become a big name in the market. When it comes to the school buses, there's 480,000 school buses in service across the United States. 26 million students are transported daily. 6 billion miles are driven annually. 823 million consumed gallons of fossil fuels, okay, and 15 times more likely to be exposed to cancer-causing toxins. I think everybody at this stage knows that electric is the way to go in the long term. And from the school bus sector alone, massive market opportunity, people. And keep in mind that the minibus opportunity is more than likely going to be even bigger. So their production and capacity, one thing I want to point out is this. Currently producing 10 to 15 units per month. We will have the capacity to produce 30 EV Stars per month by the end of the year and 100 of the EV Stars CC. So this number doesn't worry me too much given the fact that we can see this sentence and statement right after. They have the ability to expand production through leasing additional space on an opportunistic basis. This doesn't really excite me too much, but anyway. Low capital outlay due to leveraging contract manufacturing. Again, very important. And these guys do seem very, very smart with the way they're handling their finances and focusing on quality and efficiency, of course. So that really is the most important information on this company, guys. That is what they actually do. That is how revenue is growing. That is what sales are expected to look like up until the end of this year. Just two more things I really want to show you guys is that they're still getting orders, okay? GreenPower receives order for an additional 100 EV Stars from Green Commuter. This was only July 29, 2020. And GreenPower receives order for 10 electric school buses, and that was July 23rd, 2020. It's shaping up to be a very good fiscal year, even the rest of this calendar year. They've proven themselves lately, okay? They have a lot of incentives. They are getting the orders in, and it's not a very saturated market by any means whatsoever, but there is a big market there. Now look, with me, I don't generally mess with OTC, so I more than likely will not attempt to invest in these guys until the merger happens. With that being said, there could be some absolutely immense, and I mean immense, opportunity here. Let's keep in mind as well, I am personally really exposed to EV as it stands. I mean, my two biggest positions are Tesla and Workhorse. I'm also in Hyliion, in Neo. What's the other one? Lordstown Motors. This is a completely different kind of company, and I would not put it past myself by any means to invest in them at some stage. I know right now it's so exciting. When you see things like this, when you see 50% moves in a span of a couple of days, when you see nearly 150% in the span of a month, it gets really, really exciting. And you know, this run definitely could continue, especially the fact they have such a small market cap and they're starting to get a lot of hype on YouTube right now, and I'm sure mass media is going to just hype them up more and more as well. But I do think it's a really exciting opportunity, and I also do think it's a really interesting company, and I think they just have themselves set up for success both in the short and long term. I just want to make it really, really clear that this company does really excite me, and I really do like the look of them. I just also want to make it really clear I'm not invested yet, and I more than likely won't be in the next week or two, but of course if I do get involved I will make an update video to let you guys know. But that is the basics of GreenPower Motors, so now we might not get, 50 comments every video asking for this video. So guys, there we have it. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video and I was able to give you some sort of insight and value in regards to this relatively new, very exciting company. If you did watch until the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really, really do appreciate your support. It means a whole lot to me. If you did enjoy and you did take some value from this video, please hit that juicy like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new around here and drop me a comment, because all of those things really help me out so much. It means an awful lot to me. But anyway guys, with all of that being said, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for another video later on. Peace.